Tuesday, 2:43 a.m., St. Gabriel Medical Center, ICU ward. The fluorescent lights hummed above as Dr. Leila Tran flipped through the chart of room 312. She was on her 28th hour of shift, 3 cups of burnt coffee, 2 panic attacks, and 1 patient in critical decline. "Respiratory rates dropping," she muttered, adjusting her glasses. Inside the room, Maria Delgado, 47, lay unconscious, her vitals flickering on the monitor like a warning. Nurse Jameson glanced up. "She's been like this since midnight. Admin wants her moved to palliative." Leila's brow furrowed. "But we just started her on the new ventilator protocol." "Doesn't matter," Jameson shrugged. "Orders came from Dr. Kaplan. They're reallocating resources." That phrase again. Reallocating resources. A sanitized way to say, "We've given up." 3:19 a.m., hospital corridor, East Wing. Leila walked briskly toward the basement records office. Something didn't sit right. Maria had been stable just 24 hours earlier. Then sudden decline, orders to pull care. She tapped into the electronic charting system, skimming her patient's timeline. Then she saw it. The code had been changed. Maria's status had been quietly updated from full code to DNR, do not resuscitate, without patient or family consent. Her heart pounded. She clicked on the update log, edited by Administrator System Override. Timestamp 11:57 p.m. Her stomach twisted. They changed her code to let her die, and no one signed off. 3:43 a.m., Staff Lounge. Dr. Andrew Kaplan, the chief of internal medicine, sat in the lounge sipping green tea, calm, cold, calculating. Leila barged in holding a printed copy of the chart. "Who authorized the code change on Delgado?" Kaplan didn't flinch. "We had to make a call. ICU was full. We needed to prioritize someone with a higher survival probability." "You can't unilaterally issue a DNR on a conscious patient. That's illegal." He stood slowly. "What's illegal is failing the hospital's larger mission, preserving the system. Do you want everyone to die because you cling to one hopeless case?" "She wasn't hopeless. She was unprofitable," he snapped. Leila's voice trembled with fury. "You're not God, Andrew." "No," he said, stepping closer. "But I'm the one who signs your performance evaluation." 4:20 a.m., roof of the parking garage. The city lights flickered below. Leila stood alone in the cold, her lab coat whipping in the wind. She called Maria's daughter, Sophia. "They changed her code behind your back. I thought you should know." Sophia wept. "She was talking to me yesterday. She wanted to live." "I'm so sorry. What can we do?" She paused, swallowed. "We don't let them erase her. We fight back." 7:15 a.m., morning briefing. Kaplan entered the meeting room, flanked by administrators. He smiled like a man who had slept just fine. "Last night we had 2 code whites. 1 passed peacefully, 1 was stabilized. Overall, successful resource management." Leila stood. "You mean Maria Delgado, who was downgraded to DNR without consent?" The room went still. Kaplan narrowed his eyes. "Dr. Tran, we don't bring individual cases into metrics review. She was still alive when the order was changed. You let her die to make room for a private insurance patient." One administrator coughed awkwardly. "Maybe we should—" "No," Leila cut in. "People deserve to know how decisions are made in this building." 8:30 a.m., HR office. By 8:45, she was officially placed on administrative leave. Pending investigation into inappropriate conduct and violation of confidentiality, the paper read. Effective immediately. She left the hospital with nothing but a manila folder and the knowledge that she'd become a threat. Tuesday, 9:45 p.m. Leila's apartment. Leila's living room had become a war room. A dozen printed patient charts lay across her table, annotated in red ink. She'd spent the last 12 hours combing through publicly available death records, correlating names to hospital shifts, ICU capacity reports, and internal staff schedules she had downloaded before her suspension. Patterns were emerging. Too many DNR codes updated in the middle of the night. Too many signed off by system override instead of actual doctors. Too many of them just disappeared. 10:30 p.m. Phone call to an ex-colleague. Sanjay, I need you to pull the midnight logs from March through May, anything under code white entries. Leila, you're being watched. I already got the message. No, I mean literally. Kaplan has IT tracing any flag on code modifications. Your access badge is deactivated, but they still flagged you in the system this morning. She was quiet for a moment. Then I need someone they already erased. Who do we know that crossed them and survived? You're not going to like the answer. Wednesday, 11:10 a.m. A rusty apartment in East Side. Leila knocked 3 times. The door opened partially. A man in his 60s, unshaven, cautious eyes. Are you Dr. Ron Weiss? She asked. He looked at her for a long second before opening wider. They send you to finish what they started? I'm here to bring you back. 11:20 a.m. Inside Ron's apartment. The walls were lined with boxes of old case files, newspaper clippings, medical textbooks with pages marked in ink. They called me paranoid, unfit, said I forged documents to make the hospital look bad. He lit a cigarette. But I was right. So are you. Leila handed him Maria Delgado's file. He read it in silence, then nodded. The protocol. What protocol? We called it code silence back then. They deny it exists, but we all knew it. What does it mean? It's not just DNR orders. It's a tiered system, 3 levels. He drew a triangle on the table with his finger. At the top, private insurance, VIPs. Middle, general patients. Bottom, uninsured, high cost, low survival risk. They get silenced. 2 p.m., back at her apartment. Leila connected her laptop to a VPN, opened her blog draft, and created a new tab. The protocol files. She uploaded Maria's records, anonymized, with commentary. I can't be the only one who saw this, she whispered. Within hours, her post had 1,300 shares, then 4,000, then 17,000. By evening, local news picked it up. Whistleblower claims hospital faked do not resuscitate orders. And that's when the phone rang. 8:40 p.m. Blocked number. You made a mistake. Who is this? Someone who tried to do what you're doing. Then help me. You're not ready. They'll destroy your license, your family. You still have a future. Not if I keep pretending nothing is wrong. Silence. Then the caller said quietly, They call it code white because it leaves no red behind. No blood. Just paperwork. Click. Thursday, 12:15 a.m. Email from Anonymous. Subject line. Patient 2457D. Attached. A PDF. A full internal review marked confidential, detailing a patient death caused by ventilator disconnection during a resource reallocation, marked as natural causes. No signature, no witnesses, but a note at the bottom. Flagged for silence protocol, level 3. Leila printed it, hands shaking. They've killed more than Maria. 7:45 a.m. Visit to a grieving family. Leila knocked on Friday, 8:20 a.m. Leila's apartment. The electricity cut out mid-email. At first, Leila thought it was a coincidence, maybe a storm, but when her phone lost signal and her laptop flickered off despite being fully charged, the knot in her stomach tightened. She grabbed her coat, a portable hard drive, and her backup files, all tucked neatly in a fireproof box. Then she saw it. A black car idling across the street, windows tinted, no one exited. She shut the blinds. 9:10 a.m. Chase Bank branch. I'm sorry, Dr. Tran, but your account's been frozen. Frozen? On what grounds? It's flagged under suspicion of fraudulent income related to public fundraising. I haven't received a cent. Then you'll need to prove that. 9:42 a.m. Cathay Wi-Fi, North Side. Leila connected her laptop using public Wi-Fi. Her Whistleblower blog was gone. Her Reddit account banned for incitement to medical misinformation. Her university email deactivated. They're erasing me. She called Ron. It's worse than I thought. You're not paranoid. You're over the target. 12 p.m. Ron's apartment. Stacks of case files surrounded them. Leila opened a new patient chart, a man named Thomas Green. Same hospital, same DNR override, same outcome. He died 2 hours after a level 3 silence flag. Ron nodded. Patterns consistent. I had over 40 of these. They called me mentally unfit. We need someone from the inside, a witness who saw this happening and will go on record. Ron looked hesitant. There is one, but she vanished a year ago. Name? Isabel March, ER night shift. She filed an ethics complaint, then disappeared from the roster. 2:45 p.m., downtown free clinic. They found her. Hair pulled under a hoodie, sunglasses on indoors, scrubbing trays at a local free clinic like a ghost of her former self. Leila approached slowly. Isabel, I'm Dr. Leila Tran. I think they did to me what they did to you. She looked up, tense, ready to bolt. I can't help you. They made sure that. They tried to kill my patient with paperwork, and now they're coming after me. Then you should run. Or we fight. Isabel stared into her eyes for a long time, then whispered, You have no idea how deep this goes. 4:10 p.m., free clinic back room. Isabel opened an old USB drive. Inside were screenshots of internal messages. Need clearance to shift green to white tier. Update system logs under Kaplan override. No family contact. Go for silent pass. Leila froze. These aren't just patients. They're numbers in a death quota. Every fiscal quarter, Kaplan reports to a silent board, not the hospital board, another one. Private equity? Worse. Insurance hospital hybrids. They use algorithms to decide return on care. If you cost more than they think you're worth, she trailed off. They bury you in silence. 6 p.m., Ron's living room. They mapped it out on his wall, a full diagram of over 60 patients. Threads connected doctors, silent authorizations, corporate executives, and at the top, a name they didn't expect. Dr. Evelyn Cross, former ethics director. She disappeared last year. After filing a level 1 complaint, internal, it never reached the state board. If she's alive, she's the key. 7:30 p.m., news alert. St. Gabriel Medical Center files defamation lawsuit against ex-resident Dr. Leila Tran. Dr. Tran's allegations have endangered public trust in our system. We categorically deny all claims. Dr. Kaplan, Chief of Medicine. A lawsuit. Leila whispered. "They want to silence me through bankruptcy." Ron leaned forward. "Then we get louder." 9 p.m., Reddit rebirth. Isabel, using a pseudonym, began posting a new thread. "They're killing people with code. An ER nurse's story." Within 3 hours, it was trending. Doctors from Michigan, Texas, California all chimed in anonymously. "This happened at my hospital, too. We called it quiet passes. Insurance algorithms determine triage. It's real." Public pressure began building. 11:15 p.m., a knock on Leila's door. Saturday, 2:15 a.m., St. Gabriel Medical Center, South Service Tunnel. Leila moved quietly through the underground hallway beneath the hospital, a forgotten access tunnel lined with rusted pipes and outdated signage. Isabel had drawn her a crude map from memory. The original record archive is behind Radiology Sub B. "They stopped using it years ago," Isabel whispered earlier, "but that's where they buried the deaths they didn't want traced." Leila's badge was deactivated. Her only way in was through a door left ajar by a janitor Ron had bribed. 2:25 a.m., basement level, Sub B. The air was cold and musty. Light flickered from an exposed overhead bulb. She reached the double doors marked "Storage, Access Restricted," locked. But below, a keypad blinked red. She plugged in an old technician override device Ron had salvaged. It buzzed softly. Click. The door opened. Inside, filing cabinets, dozens, floor to ceiling, each one labeled by quarter, not patient name. She began to dig. 2:40 a.m., Internal Code Archive, Q2 2022. Inside one drawer were thick black folders, each marked only by numbers: Case W4X 2273, Code White Level 3, Deceased, Authorization Override. She opened one. Inside, a signed document by Kaplan, another signed by Dr. Evelyn Cross, a red stamp, non-reportable. The document read, "Patient exhibited non-recoverable cognitive damage. Ethics Board authorized silent termination." Leila's eyes widened. There were over 50 of these, some patients as young as 19. One had Down syndrome, another was a homeless war veteran. None had next of kin listed. None had been reported to the coroner. "They manufactured invisibility," she whispered. 3:12 a.m., far back wall. Something caught her eye. A locked gray cabinet bolted to the far wall. She pulled, wouldn't budge, but the lock was cheap. She took a fire extinguisher and slammed it down. Crack. Inside, a small hard drive labeled Cross Original Ethics Reports. Evelyn kept her own copies. Suddenly, footsteps. 3:16 a.m., hallway outside archive. Leila pressed herself against the doorframe. Boots. 2 of them. Security. Admin said no one was supposed to be down here. They said if she shows, we bring her straight to Kaplan. She backed into the archive, clutching the hard drive to her chest. Her heart slammed against her ribs. She found an old laundry chute and squeezed in. Fell. Hard. Bruised, breathless, but not caught. 3:35 a.m., Ron's apartment. They almost had me. She placed the hard drive on the table. Isabel plugged it in. It booted, password locked. Ron stared at the screen. There's a pattern. Evelyn wouldn't choose random numbers. Try her old badge ID. Access granted. Inside, dozens of video files, audio logs, PDF reports. One opened automatically. Dr. Evelyn Cross speaking into her laptop camera. "This is Ethics Director Evelyn Cross. If this is found, I am likely gone or silenced. The protocol has been weaponized. Kaplan and the board are selectively ending lives based on cost projections. I filed 3 internal complaints. All were erased. I've reached out to state regulators. No reply. If no one listens, I hope someone like me, someone younger, with more courage, finishes this." Leila's throat tightened. "You left this for me." 4 a.m. Upload to public archive. Leila uploaded the first 5 video files to an encrypted public cloud backed by a non-profit whistleblower protection agency. Within minutes, journalists began to message her. Reuters, ProPublica, Vox, The Guardian. One tweet from a nurse went viral. "We always suspected, now we know." 7 a.m. National Media Alert. Breaking. Video evidence leaked of secret termination protocol at St. Gabriel Medical. Sunday, 8:45 a.m. CNN breaking news. In a shocking twist, whistleblower Dr. Leila Tran, whose explosive leaks rocked St. Gabriel Medical, is now under scrutiny herself. A sealed lawsuit filed 3 years ago accuses Dr. Tran of ethical misconduct and inappropriate patient contact during her residency in New Jersey. Dr. Kaplan, through legal counsel, says this confirms a pattern of instability and dangerous behavior. 9:05 a.m. Free clinic break room. Leila stared at the screen, fists clenched. "That lawsuit was dismissed. No merit. I was cleared." Ron frowned. "Doesn't matter. They just need doubt. Truth is irrelevant now. Perception is everything." Isabel checked her phone. "Twitter's tearing you apart. #FakeDoctor is trending." "We need to push back." "How? With what media? They're all pulling back now." Leila stood up. "Then we don't use media. We use people." 12:30 p.m. Parking lot town hall. A makeshift podium, a plastic microphone, a crowd of 150, angry, grieving, curious. Leila stepped up. "They say I'm unstable, that I'm a liar, but I didn't create those files. Dr. Evelyn Cross did. You saw her face. You heard her voice. Ask yourself, why is their only defense to smear me?" From the back, someone shouted, "My cousin died at St. Gabriel. They told us it was pneumonia, but he walked in for a migraine." Murmurs turned to fists raised. "You're not alone," Leila said. "This isn't about me. It's about all of us." 3 p.m. Online surge. The video of her speech hit 2.1 million views in 6 hours. #WeStandWithLeila began trending. Hundreds of emails flooded in. Families, nurses, even ex-hospital IT staffers offering anonymous tips. Ron scanned a tip that caught his eye. A security contractor says Kaplan erased the hospital's real mortality database 3 days ago, right after your first leak. So they did destroy evidence. Maybe not all of it. He says Kaplan kept a backup. Where? Locked vault, under Kaplan's name, registered with a third-party private cloud, but encrypted with a biometric key. Whose biometrics? Kaplan's. Or someone close to him. 4:40 p.m. Isabel thinks back. She snaps her fingers. His wife, Dr. Cynthia Lerner. She was head of pediatrics, retired last year after a stroke. Leila's eyes lit up. What if she doesn't know what he's doing, or worse, does and regrets it? 6:10 p.m. Nursing Home, West District. Cynthia Lerner sat in a wheelchair, eyes sharp, despite frailty. "You're Dr. Tran," she said calmly. "The one my husband calls a reckless threat." Leila knelt beside her. "I don't want to hurt your family. I want the truth. People have died, good people." Cynthia looked at her long and hard, then reached into her robe pocket and handed her a flash drive. "He kept one backup, encrypted, but I know the passphrase." "Why are you helping me?" "Because I once took an oath too, and I broke it by staying silent." 7:30 p.m. Decryption. The drive opened slowly. Inside, 82 gigabytes of data. Internal death audits, staff messages, DNR flag logs, financial reports labeled Cost-Risk Termination Spreadsheet. One spreadsheet listed projected savings per patient, color-coded by likelihood of public backlash. At the bottom, Public Relations Strategy Tiering in case of exposure, initiate discredit protocol Level 1. Leila read out loud. Level 1, attack mental health. Level 2, leak sealed legal files. Level 3, discredit family ties, financial stability. It's a manual for how to ruin whistleblowers. 9 p.m., emergency broadcast upload. This time, Leila didn't ask for permission. She emailed the files to every journalist who had previously ghosted her. She tweeted the spreadsheet. She uploaded a 10-minute video explaining how Kaplan weaponized patient data and public perception. They don't want you to think. They want you to doubt. But the truth doesn't care what you believe. It just is. Monday, 7 a.m., National Uprising. Monday, 9 a.m., Federal Courthouse, San Francisco. The courtroom was packed. Media lined every wall, their cameras humming softly as Judge Ellen Royce entered. This is a preliminary evidentiary hearing in the matter of U.S. versus Gabriel Medical Systems et al. At the defense table, Dr. Andrew Kaplan, his suit crisp, his face blank. At the witness stand, Dr. Leila Tran, hands steady, heart storming. Judge Royce looked up. Dr. Tran, you may begin. 9:15 a.m., testimony begins. I was a third-year resident when I discovered the first altered DNR order, Leila said clearly. The patient was Maria Delgado. She was conscious, had spoken to her daughter hours earlier, but died after her code was switched by system override. She gestured to a screen displaying Kaplan's signature on the override. It wasn't an error, it was policy. Gasps echoed in the room. Kaplan whispered something to his lawyer. Objection, speculation. Overruled, the judge said. Continue. 9:30 a.m. Leila plays the Evelyn Cross video. Dr. Evelyn Cross's trembling voice filled the room. If you find this, I've either disappeared or been silenced. The jury, though this wasn't a trial yet, sat motionless, visibly shaken. Even the stenographer wiped away a tear. Leila concluded. This wasn't about medicine. It was business. Profits over lives. 10:05 a.m. Kaplan cross-examines. Surprisingly, Kaplan insisted on cross-examining her himself. He approached slowly, almost gently. Dr. Tran, are you aware that whistleblowers often suffer from elevated paranoia? Are you asking if I'm crazy? Laughter rippled in the back rows. Kaplan pressed on. You once failed a psych eval during residency in Newark, did you not? And I passed the reevaluation, fully cleared. But stress makes people misinterpret data, doesn't it? Leila stared at him. Did stress make you fake over 50 death reports? He flinched. No further questions. 11:45 a.m., lunch recess. Outside, hundreds had gathered. Signs read, Justice for Maria, Protect Whistleblowers, No More Code White. Leila stepped onto the courthouse steps. They thought silence would protect them. But truth has a voice. The crowd roared. 2:15 p.m., final presentation, the spreadsheet. Isabel took the stand. She walked the court through the cost-risk termination documents. Each line item, each redacted name, each statistic. These aren't just numbers, she said, voice breaking. These were people we swore to help. At the end, she placed a photo of Thomas Green on the desk. He was my patient, and I did nothing. 3:30 p.m., Kaplan breaks. Kaplan whispered furiously to his lawyer, then stood. Your Honor, I request to speak freely. Judge Royce hesitated. Granted. He walked to the center of the room, unblinking. Do you all think medicine is charity? We were bleeding money. The board demanded results. Insurance wouldn't pay to keep dying people on machines. The room froze. Yes, I created the protocol. Yes, I signed the overrides. Because if we hadn't, this entire system would have collapsed. They were sacrifices, and they kept the hospital alive. Dead silence. Then a single voice from the gallery. So you played God. 4:10 p.m. Judge Royce's ruling. Dr. Kaplan, you've just confessed to felony falsification, conspiracy, and ethical malpractice. This court will recommend immediate federal indictment. Cheers erupted. Kaplan's face remained blank. Leila exhaled slowly, tears in her eyes. It was done. 2 months later, congressional hearing, Washington, D.C. Leila sat before the U.S. Senate Committee on Health and Ethics. Senator Ruiz leaned forward. Dr. Tran, you risked everything. I couldn't keep working in a system that buried people to stay afloat.